Hey, Kim.
Hi, Eric.
What's going on?
I'm just sitting here in this super awesome four-door Bronco.
You mean the four-door, the best SUV, best 4x4 SEMA 2017 four-door Bronco?
Yeah, that's the one.
Do you know what? The Bronco won best handcrafted 4x4 at the Indy World of Wheels this weekend?
No, I didn't know that.
Isn't that amazing?
It is amazing.
Here, let's give everybody a real quick tour. We're sitting in the showroom.
It's really fancy.
And we got 3 rows of seats in this here Bronco and some pretty slick stuff going on in the... Yeah, check this thing out. It's mean. It's mean. And this got 4 doors. It's one of a kind. Rouse supercharged. Coyote engine. And here we go. And Kim, I am incredibly cranked up. This might be the most excited I've ever been getting on a Facebook Live and talking.
Why? What's going on?
Because some incredible things happened this weekend while we displayed this 4-door Bronco at the Indianapolis World of Wheels. Some things happened that really kind of shocked me.
Okay.
And it relates to what we're going to be talking about today. Okay?
Yeah.
And that is this. I had at least a dozen small business owners come to the show and specifically seek me out and want to talk to me about social media. And as it turns out, they were all small business owners, or they were in charge of social media and marketing for their company.
Okay.
And they said, we've been tuning in and watching Max Slider Motors, Max Slider Brothers Customs,
right,
on Instagram or Facebook. We've been watching you guys for a year, 2 years, 3 years, and they have a digital relationship with us, and they wanted to come and tell me that they were inspired by some of the things they've learned and what they see us do.
That's amazing.
And I so desperately want to tell that, or want to help you folks accomplish the same kinds of results. And so,
because that's what we're all about at Mavidia and Max Slider.
That's right. It's what we're all about. And so I have so much I want to say. I asked Kim at the last moment. I said, Kim, you gotta join me. We want to sit in the 4-door Bronco, but you got to kind of keep me on track. So this is going to be kind of a brain dump of a lot of information that I want you to take seriously, because it can change your business. It literally can change your business. It's changed Max Slider Brothers Customs, and it can change your business just the same way. Okay, so I want to talk about the importance of digital relationships. Okay, we've said it in the past. Digital relationships are a relationship that someone has with you through a social media asset, right?
Right.
And I want to break that down a little bit, because what I realized at the show is people were coming up and asking about what's your strategy and how do you do it and what do you do, and I was like, it just seems it's so natural to us at Mavidia, because that's what our background is, but people are finding it really difficult to wrap their hands around it. And so I want to break it down and think about digital relationships. Each person that came up to me at the show was excited to meet me and talk to me because they have had a digital relationship with me for an extended period of time. And the crazy part is I didn't even know it. Okay? And they told me stories like, we've been watching, and as a result of watching what you guys are doing at Max Slider, we are doing things in our business and trying to showcase our team. I had one guy tell me that he's given his whole team nicknames because he likes how we call people nicknames here at Max Slider, and he thought he just thinks that's the greatest thing. So so he has had a digital relationship with us, and has been learning through what we've done at Max Slider, and it's making a difference in his small business. He said sales are up. More people are contacting me saying, oh, I was watching and I saw you post a picture of this, or you were talking about that, and I connect and I come to your site on a regular basis. And he's like, I had no idea that was happening, Eric. And I said, I know, because I had no idea you were doing this stuff.
Right.
And now you're telling me about it, and it's the first time I've ever met you and gotten your first name.
Right.
So, digital relationships, they are often one-sided.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So, Max Slider Brothers Customs between Instagram and Facebook has just under 100,000 followers. And we started with 10 followers. Actually, we started with one, and it's probably you. And the second one was my wife, and the third one was my mom.
Yeah,
and,
your mom.
And then all my friends.
Your cousin.
That's right. All the people that I begged to pay attention to what we were doing.
Right.
But we started really, really small, and now we have between Instagram, there's about 40,000 followers on Instagram, and on Facebook, there's 54,000 followers on Facebook. So over the course of 3 years, we've built 100,000 people following us, tuning in on a regular basis to what we do.
And why is that important?
Well, okay, great. See, thank you. It's important because we've broken the wall, or we've broken through the barrier of just being someone who they see doing something to someone that they, what we talk about, know, like, and begin to trust.
Right.
Okay? And I'll talk about that here in a second. But what's the reason that's important is now we've found all these people tuning into what we do, watching that, and making us a regular part of their daily conversation or daily thought process, right? They don't all turn into customers overnight, but they eventually turn into customers. They eventually
Or evangelists.
or referral sources. They eventually buy our merchandise.
Yep.
They eventually contact us and say, I've got a buddy looking for something and he needs some advice, and plugging us into that, and that's, I guess, as a form of referral. And the digital relationships just continue to build and build.
Right.
Okay, what we are working on is how to, not everybody's going to buy a big Bronco
Right.
and spend tens of thousands of dollars on a Bronco, but what else could we offer them that can help them be part of our brand or get a piece of our brand in the
Right.
form of like apparel or products. So because of all the digital relationships we have, we are now thinking about getting into other segments, other areas of business to monetize those digital relationships.
Right.
Okay, so digital relationships. I mentioned know, like, and trust. What has happened in that process, give me a second, I'm getting text messages. What has happened in the process of them following us is they've gotten to know us. Okay, I'm seeing what they're doing. I kind of understand it. I see the way they're doing it. And it's given them an opportunity to like us or dislike us. And some people don't like us.
Yeah.
Right? Some people say, you know what, I don't like those guys, and so we're tuning out. But a lot of people have decided that they like us, and as a result, they begin to follow us more and more.
Right.
They come, I was told this at the show, I come to your site, your Facebook page and your Instagram page 3 to 4 to 5 times a day.
That's a lot.
I can't pay for that kind of marketing. Right? I can't, you can't buy that, right? They're tuning in, they're wanting to see what we're doing, and as a result, they begin to trust us. And when they trust us, they can do things like make referrals. They can do things like buy a T-shirt or ask us for our service or help in a product area. It is grown to the point where we can't keep up with it.
So you're saying the goal of your digital marketing, your Instagram account and your Facebook and the 100,000 or so followers that you have is not just about posting pretty selfies of Broncos or
Of
your
Broncos.
team.
I like how you did that. There were pretty selfies of me with my hat on backwards because I didn't have time to do my hair today.
But there's more to that.
There's a lot more to that.
There are a lot of businesses who have counted themselves out, and they don't believe that they have a story for social media, and they believe that their customers, are just word of mouth, or they don't find them online, or they don't see them online, and they see the social media as something that you do personal, and maybe something that they don't have a voice for social media because they don't have beautiful Ford Broncos to show on their page. But you're saying that the digital relationship goes far beyond showing a pretty product, and it goes into that actual relationship. And when you talk about the know, like, trust, everybody can create that because people want to see transparency. They want to see realness. They want to know who's on your team, and they want to know what your values are and who's working on your project, or who is completing that tax return or building that website or fixing your computer. They want to know the people behind the story.
They want to know the people. They want to understand what motivates you. They want an opportunity to connect or disconnect. And I think that's really important to think about because they either want to believe in it and follow it and engage with it, or they want to move on and
Right.
find someone else they connect with and engage
And
with.
they don't want to be marketed to. You know, we've lived in this era where we're constantly marketed to, and people want to take some of that control back, and they wanted to get to decide. They want to see past the glitter and the shininess, and they want to see to the real person, and then they want to decide if this is a person I want to connect with or disconnect from.
Right. There's been just crazy things happen that we don't have time to talk about, but just at a high level, because of our social media following, we have grown from one employee, me, to Max Slider Brothers Customs now in the 13 employees in less than 3 years.
Great.
Enormous amount of growth. We've been contacted over 20 times by reality production companies interested in turning what we do into a reality show. We've been contacted by big influencers who also do what we do, who also learn from us coincidentally, and I'm learning from them on the back end. Sometimes I have a digital relationship with them, and they have a digital relationship with me, and we don't know that about each other. Right. So I'm finding those kinds of situations, and the people that are watching, I could have never imagined that people at that level would care.
Right.
And so I think in wrapping this up, what we want to get you to do is think about digital relationships. Like every day, how can you create more digital relationships? What could you give people so that they can decide if they want to connect with you or maybe disconnect with you?
Now, what if I'm a small shop or a B2B service company, and I don't have 100,000 followers, and I'm probably not, and I'm not going to work with people all over the United States.
Sure.
What does that look like for me? Is there an audience for me if I'm just a local service company?
Absolutely. And here's a quick story. On just that topic, while we were in Indianapolis, I was approached by Matt Troyer, I believe was his name, who owns a construction company. And he and his little son, Griffin, were there, and he came up and he had all this, what initially got my attention, he's had all this like gear on his phone, like servos, and he was filming the 4-door. Mm-hmm. And so I stopped and watched, and he came up and said, "Hey, I wanted to tell you, we've been watching what you do for a couple of years. We're doing it in our small business. We're a local construction company, does remodeling and home building and whatnot, and I am seeing in real life the result of spending time showcasing people or showcasing what we do so that people can see it." And I said, "Oh man, that's incredible." And it reminds me that what you've done is you've broken the barrier of know, like, and trust. You built a digital relationship with that person because they've gotten to know you. They decide if they like you, and if they like you, they can trust you. And now it's translating into referrals and translating into new business and new contracts. And he's like, "This is great. It's really working." And I said, "Man, we got to tell that story more because so many people like you can benefit from doing the same types of things. It's not rocket science. All it is some consistency and transparency." So
Absolutely.
With that said, Kim told me to keep it short. It's hard for me. Thank you for joining me to kind of keep me on track. I hope this benefits you. What we're going to start to do more of, I think, is doing some real world, actually, how to do it. You saw last week we did a walkthrough and just kind of approaching everyday scenarios and taking pictures or videos and how you can post those. I think next week we're going to talk about how to tag them, the importance of tags.
Some of the practical ways to use those pictures.
To use the
once
tool.
you get that idea.
Exactly. One of the things that come to mind are the difference between posts on like Instagram. I want to focus on Instagram, I think, next time.
Okay.
Because I think that's been a really good place to start, and it feeds Facebook. And most people don't realize that if they just put their effort in Instagram, it could feed Facebook, and they don't have to do it twice.
Yeah.
So we want to show them how to tag things, and maybe the difference between posts and stories, because stories are a whole new thing that is having a lot of are creating a lot of great opportunity for us that we're seeing as well.
People love stories.
They love the story. A little 15-second clip, and we'll show you. We'll kind of talk about where that sits in people's feeds and how you can use that. So with that said, thank you for tuning in. This is Kim. I'm Eric.
This is Eric.
from Video Technology Group and Max Slider Brothers Customs in the 4-door Bronco in the showroom. And Chris was listening to the whole thing, and so was Alex. Wave, guys. Hey. Hey. All right.
You got bad breath.
Thanks, says Kim. Tune in next week. God bless.